guys. So today I was talking to a high school coach, and we started talking about a lot of different aspects of baseball. And one of the things he said to me is he's nervous about their starting tournament play here soon. And he said he's nervous because his team defensively isn't very good, and he doesn't think he has a lot of great defenders. And so we started talking about stuff, and whenever someone talks about defensive stuff, I just kind of start asking questions. So I asked him what he's been doing about it. He said he's been taking some infield and stuff like that. So I asked him what his practices look like. And he said most of them are all the same. They'll show up, they'll stretch and everything. They'll take an infield. So, each guy gets like 3 or 4 ground balls, throw 2 across, throw 2 to second, and then they'll hit. And I was like, okay, and what do you do after that? And he said, nothing. That takes like an hour and a half or 2 hours or so, and that's our practice. And I said, okay, what else do you do for fielding? And nothing. So I said, how your team's bad at defense, but you don't practice it. And he said, well, we take an infield every single day. So the point I'm getting at is, I understand that practice time is limited, and some guys play in all different parts of the country, where the weather's not always good, and you don't have a ton of time. But from what I can tell from young players, and I've met a lot of different high school players from all over the country, and most guys say they don't pay any attention to defense when they're younger. It's just about hitting, and I find this everywhere. But then I listen to people say, we lost because of our defense, and you guys know that pitching and defense is what usually will win championships. Good pitching beats good hitting, and defense is a huge part of the game. Yeah, we don't practice it. A lot of guys don't practice it. Even for myself, when I played in high school, I didn't do a whole lot of infield stuff. When I got to college, I started getting more and more into it, and then once you get to professional baseball, you do tons of defensive work because they realize at that point how important it really is. You need to have a good defensive team. So the big thing is you got to take pride in your defense. Your defense isn't going to get better just because you play in 3 games every week or you take an infield every day. I'm talking ground ball after ground ball after ground ball. You get out there early, you do your early work, but you got to find a way to get ground balls. And when we're taking ground balls, when I watch young guys take it, high school players, even college players, they'll just kind of goof around and they'll miss a ball, they'll pick it up, they'll throw it in, or whatever. It doesn't really matter. They say, oh, well, it's just practice. I'm telling you, the way you practice is the way you're going to play. And guys take batting practice very seriously. So why don't we take our ground balls very seriously? We don't think it's a big part of the game. It's huge. So when you're practicing and you're taking your ground balls, what I like to do is you want to field 100% of your ground balls. Because in a game, if you miss one, an error is a big deal. In practice, if you want to get it to that point in the game where you're so comfortable that you don't even think about it and you just field it and make the play, you've got to do it over and over and over and over again in practice. You have to get out there and take as many ground balls as you can whenever you can. So the big thing is repetition. Take a bunch. You want to take them and do everything that you might happen to have to do in a game. So we want to take balls straight up. Take some hard balls where you have to maybe you have to drop step on it. Take some where you have to charge it. Take some backhands. Take some forehands. Take some slow backhands where you got to get around the ball, circle it, and get going to first base. Then we work on our double plays. The same thing with double plays. You work on the ball to you, a slow one to you, to your forehand, to your backhand. One where you have to go far to your forehand and pivot if you're a second baseman, or far to your backhand and make a pivot and throw to second. You want to work on everything you possibly can that might come up in the game. I don't care if you invent stuff and you do a trick play. You want to cover as much as you possibly can when you're in practice. That's the biggest thing. And take it serious. Take pride in your defense. If you miss a ball, yeah, I don't want you to go crazy and start pulling your hair out. But you shouldn't be just booting balls because you're not paying attention or you don't think it's a big deal. It's a big deal. You have to make sure you want to be as close to 100% in practice as you possibly can. That way you can expect to do it in a game and feel comfortable doing it in a game. Those are the two biggest things that I would say is going to improve your defense. Last thing I want to leave you with is everybody wants to hit because hitting is the cool thing. But if you think about it, if you want to play professional baseball or even college baseball, or you want to play in the big leagues, whatever you want to play, you can't just be a one-dimensional player. You've got to play defense. There's only 15 teams in the league that have a DH. So unless you plan on being one of the 15 best designated hitters in the entire world, you've got to play defense. You're not going to be able to just get by with your hitting because eventually you're going to get to a spot where, yeah, you're a good hitter, but there's tons of hitters out there and someone's going to catch up to you even if you're the greatest hitter in the world. And if you're close to talent with someone else hitting-wise, they're going to go to the next thing. Defense. Oh, this guy can't play defense at all and he's a liability and he's booting balls all over the place and we're losing a lot of ball games. We can't play him. And it doesn't matter how good of a hitter you are, you won't play if you can't play defense. So you've got to take pride in your defense, and I'm telling you, if you want to play at a higher level, you have to be a good defender. So try those things, just work at it. Whatever you do hitting-wise, take the same amount of time and do it defensively, and you'll see your game improve. Thanks, guys.